Hey everybody, Prepper One here. Can you all hear me? All right. So, so first of all, what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try to do things a little bit different. Okay. So what we're going to do is, again, if you have a question, please put it all in cap locks so that I can see it. And the other thing that I was going to tell everybody is when what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk first, and then I'm going to take questions after I talk a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the topic. Talking about what's their plan for us and, what's the end game. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that first. After I talk about that, then I'll take questions afterwards because I'm telling you what, trying to keep up with everything, guys, it is crazy. Okay, so I'm trying to figure something out here so I can, okay, all right, so what is their plan for us and what's the end game? So basically, what's happening is for a long time, most people, and this, I'm just going to give you my opinion of it, okay? So for a long time, most people were on the hamster wheel, just doing what they were told, not, just playing the game and making money for the system and doing what they were supposed to do, okay? So what happened was some people started to wake up. And this is like I said, again, this is my opinion. People started waking up, and the people that run this system, and it's not the president, it's not the Queen of England. Those are not the people that run things, guys. It's the people that, those are the puppet masters, if you will. The people that really, truly run things are the people that you're never going to see. They're the ones that control everything. And so you're talking your pharmaceutical companies, your insurance companies, your banks, okay? Those are the people that really truly make the decisions of what happens in this country. It's like, I don't know if you guys remember when Bush was in office, he signed into law that like people could not go just regular bankruptcy anymore. They had to do it a different way. And the thing is, the banks don't lose either way. No matter what happens, the banks are insured, so they're covered no matter what. If you pay or you don't pay, the banks are covered, okay? So you got these people that really truly run things, and they basically tell people like the president, this is what you're going to do. Okay, so anyway, people started waking up, and they don't want people to wake up. They don't want people to be off the hamster wheel and realize that we're being screwed left, right, and center. So as more and more people started waking up, they got to try to lock that down because it's control. Ultimately, at the end of the day, they want total and complete control. If you look at back 100 years ago, you did not have to have, a license to go fishing, a license to go hunting. You didn't have to have all these different things and permission, basically, to do something that people did forever and a day. Now, people are going to say, well, they did licenses because it was to control the animal population and all this type of stuff. At the end of the day, it's all revenue, guys. Regardless of what spin you want to put on it, it's about making money for the system. And again, it's all about control, okay? You aren't looking at this, please look this way. Yeah, I changed the camera side, so I wanted to see if it would be better that way. Okay, so I'll just look at the camera. So anyway, it's all about, the end game is about control, and that's what they want. They don't want us to be free thinking, to have our own minds. They don't want us to be independent. They want us dependent on the system. So as long as you're dependent on the system, oh, that was something totally different. Okay. So as long as you're dependent on the system, they're happy. That's what they want. So I got to show you too here. This is my gift from my niece that I got for Christmas. Best cat dad ever. And the cat is flipping everybody off. I love this coffee. It's my tea mug. So, but I love that. So it's like, she gets me. So she's awesome. My niece is awesome. So that's Jeannie. So she's in her 30s now. This little baby that I held in my arms, she's in her 30s, which is amazing. I can't believe that already, but she's 35. So yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I love my cats. Those are my babies, guys. They are absolutely, they are my children. Actually, if you I'll turn this around real quick. There's the white devil. What's going on, baby boy? And there's Miss Socks. Yep. So, yeah, hold on a second. Let me get this straightened back out here. Okay. So, anyway, it's again, no, baby girl, no. So it's all about control, and so that the end game is to they people will say to me, well, why would they want to decrease? Do I like beer? Yes, I sure do. Labatt's Blue is my beer. So they want to decrease the population because there's too many people. So how do you do that? How do you get the population to be decreased? I absolutely think that autism is introduced on purpose. You look at the number of kids today that have autism, my son included. My son was a normal little boy, 2 years old, no issues. He was talking before his sister, everything. He was completely fine. When they went and got their 2-year-old shots, they went together to the doctors and got their 2-year-old shots. It was like somebody flipped the light switch and Eddie completely shut down. And he's come a long, long way. And I know he can hear me, so I'm not saying anything he hasn't heard before. So he can hear me, and he knows, he listens to everything. He's a very, very smart young man. But it's done for a purpose, because those type of kids, a lot of times they don't get married, they don't have kids. So there's one way to control the population. Another way, like I said, what they do is all the crap they're putting in everything. We never, 100 years ago, were they putting fluoride in our water? I mean, there's another great example, okay? You look at all the toxic stuff that goes on a regular basis. The cancer, if you live in certain areas, the cancer levels increase to a lot higher percentage depending on where you are because of all the chemicals and stuff like that. My cousin had a house on Rand Street in Rochester, and the prices of those houses were dirt cheap because of all of the chemical waste and stuff, and the number of people that ended up with cancer stuff that lived on those streets. So he lived there for a few years, and then they moved. But yep, exactly. Autism is definitely targeting boys. More boys have autism than girls do. Okay. Oh, Carlos, thank you. Carlos, I don't know if you've given me your number or not. If you haven't, please do. I'm looking this way. I'm sorry. Carlos, just send me an email, preppernurse1@yahoo.com. Give me your email, or give me your number, and I'll call you for sure. If I don't have your number, just send it again. I get a lot of people, a lot of information, so I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you. So I definitely will talk to you, and thank you very much, by the way. So anyway, this is what is being done. It's to control us all, okay? And the end game is to weed out what they consider the weak links. And so how do you do that, okay? And I've talked about this before. I truly believe there's going to be a grid down situation. That would be the most plausible way to do it. Not an EMP, okay? It'll be a cyber attack by, terrorists to shut the grid down. But the benefits of that for the powers that be. So people would say to me, well, why would they do it? Why would they do it? Well, I will explain. If you look at this system, when you have 48% of the people that are getting some form of benefits, meaning either elderly, disabled, welfare moms, and with their kids and stuff like that, there's a lot of people getting a lot of money that's going out. So are they productive to what these people want? No, they're not. Okay. So what they're going to want to do is they want to get rid of those people. So what is the best way to do that? You turn the lights off for 6 months. You turn the lights off for 6 months. And yes, will a lot of other people die? Absolutely. But what do you do? What is going to be the savior at the end of 6 months? Here we are. Come to this city or come to that city. We have the lights restored and the power's restored here. Come in, we'll help you. Okay. And people will go, guys. I mean, again, if you have a sick person in your family or somebody needs surgery or whatever, you're going to go. That's the bottom line, okay? And a lot of people will go just because they want that normalcy back. A lot of people will not be able to handle mentally what's going to come and what's going to be happening. They can't handle it mentally, okay? So let's see what we got here. So throw me some question, guys, if you have. What's my workout regimen? Yeah, not so much one right now, unfortunately. I definitely need to get back into better shape. I've been working on it. My weight is definitely down. I've been trying to eat better and trying not to eat as much. So I definitely have changed that aspect of it. Never been a big drinker, so it's not like it's a beer belly or nothing. It's a sweet belly. Love my sweets. That's my weakness. So, all right. Okay, let's see. FEMA barges in Hawaii. I had not heard that. Thoughts on thoughts on 5G effect on the human body? You know what? I've seen a lot of information on that, and I really don't know how pertinent that is, to be honest with you, because there's really no strong documentation to back that up. So I can't say. I don't really know for sure. I actually have to do more research on that because I know a lot of people are really up in arms about that, and so I really don't have a lot of questions. Let's see. Hyperinflation. Well, I'll tell you what. So somebody just asked how long before hyperinflation kicks in. I think we're seeing it already, to be honest with you. The prices of everything are going up, even though they're keeping the oil prices down more so now. They've been coming down, which has been great. But if you look at the cost of food, the cost of healthcare, and I love it now that if you don't have health insurance, you get fined. I mean, what is that? I mean, who are they to tell you that you have to have health insurance? If you can't afford it? What are you supposed to do? You just take the fine. I mean, that's realistically how it goes. I mean, so let me see what we got. Let's see. What happened to Medical Mondays? Well, I'll tell you what happened to Medical Mondays. When I was doing Medical Mondays, I was not getting a lot of views on those videos. And so the interest just was not there for Medical Mondays. I wanted to continue doing Medical Mondays, but let's say I put up a regular video and say I got 5,000 views on that. If I put up a Medical Mondays video, I was getting like 1,500 views. And that's the real reason why I stopped doing that. Now, if you guys tell me that you want to see it again, I may try it again now at this point. It's been a while, obviously, since I did that. It's quite a while since I've done that. But I would do it again if you guys are interested. $15. Oh, Trump got rid of the insurance fines? Well, that's good. That I did not know. Let's see. Yeah, right now, guys, rice, if you go out and you buy rice, it's really, really cheap right now. I mean, so, depending on where you get it, it's a really good thing to have. Rice can be used with so many different things. So many different things can be infused with rice to make it a different taste and stuff like that. I've kind of talked about that a little bit before as well. What are your thoughts about the yellow vest crowds in France? I'm going to tell you what. My hat is off to them because they have had enough. They're not putting up with any more of the crap. They've just had it. And it's like, again, what point here in the United States is that going to happen where people say, I've had enough of being taxed to death, and every time I turn around, I'm taxed some more. I can remember the one time here, not in the distant past, where gas was almost $4 a gallon, and people really started going nuts. Man, the next thing you know, those prices started coming down. So I think that it's like they know how far to push, but they don't want to push too far because they know if they push too far, they'll have a France situation on their hands like, here that they have over there. So I think that is why you're not going to see them push that hard. They know how far to push us, and that's what they do. They do it on a regular basis. So I hope the yellow vests come here. I hope that starts. I hope people say, hey, I've had enough of this crap, because something has to change. I mean, the corruption in the government, the lying, the stealing, the money disappearing, trillions and trillions of dollars where, oh, wow, we don't know where it went. Bull crap. They know exactly where it went. So let's see. Let's see. What will happen in martial law is declared? Which troops would they use? If martial law was declared, guys, they're going to call up the National Guard, and they're also going to have the regular army. And again, I've talked about this a little bit in the past. What they're going to make sure they control, first of all, they're going to control the cities, because where most of the people are in the cities. You look at the East Coast and the West Coast, that's where most of the people are, okay? So that's where they're going to have most of the people to control. They're going to have them there. They're going to control the highways. They'll put up checkpoints. So you're still going to be able to travel and still be able to get around, but there would be a curfew that you had to be in by a certain time. And if you weren't, you're going to get arrested. And that was going to be no joke, okay? You have to remember, when martial law is declared, the Constitution is suspended. They can arrest you for any reason that they decide to arrest you for. So, I mean, you would have to pretty much play the game. at that point. So that's something to think about. And if you are trying to get to an area, do it on the down low. Basically, don't let them know what you're doing. Keep a low profile. Get to where you've got to go. But I would not want to be in the cities. Let's see. Oh, the Bush funeral envelope. Yeah, they're always passing on information to each other all the time. There's always games being played. And again, and I've talked about this, and I saw a comment on this on Facebook today, and it said, "What if I told you that the left and the right are two wings of the same bird?" And I've talked about this before. Ultimately, they are working together to play games with us, divide us, conquer us, keep us under control. And that's exactly it. If we would focus on the true problems, which is the government, our forefathers right now would be raising up arms and saying, enough of this crap, okay? And we got to remember, too, guys, when I think it was only 5%, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. But I think it was only 5% of the people when the Revolutionary War started. 5% of the people were the ones that said, I had enough of this crap. So it wasn't everybody. Some of the people were just fine with colonial rule. But it was enough people that said, I'm not putting up with this crap no more. And that's where that all came from. So if enough of us got up and said, and if 100,000 people got up and said, we're not taking it anymore, they're going to laugh us off and arrest us and put us all in jail. But if we get 3, 4, 5, 6 million people, now you've got a substantial amount of people that are saying, I'm not taking this crap no more. Then they're going to listen. They're really going to listen. And that's what you want. You want them to have them listen. Saying NATO's the one that will come to us or come at us. You know what? I don't think that's going to happen, because I'm going to tell you what would happen. If NATO came here and they tried to put NATO troops here to try to control the United States population, there'd be a lot of dead NATO troops, because Americans are not going to tolerate it. I'm telling you right now. You may say that no way, that's not going to happen. Let those NATO troops come out into the country and see what they would be greeted with out in the country. Maybe in the cities, people in the cities might let them do whatever they want to do. But you get out into the country, it's not going to happen, guys. I'm telling you right now, that is not going to happen. They will take our food stocks. Or will they take our food stocks? I've talked about this before, too. If you have food stocks, if you can do caches, and not just 1 or 2 caches, guys, I'm talking about 15, 20 caches, everything buried in different spots, all directions, east, west, north, and south. If you do that, you have stuff that only you and maybe a couple other people know where that food is. If they come through, let's say, they came through, gangs came through, or somebody, so you take off, you run off and get away and hide. They take whatever little bit that you have there, but you know that once they leave, because they're not going to stay, once they leave, you can still have your other stuff there that you have cached away in different places. So I'm a big, big believer in having caches all over the place. Really think that that's important. Really think people really need to do that. And again, you want to be below the frost line. So like New York State, the frost line is 2 feet. So if you go deeper than 2 feet, that's a good depth to put your stuff. Okay. So just a thought for that. Let's see. Not so easy to do in the burbs. You're right. It's not so easy to do in the burbs. But you know what? You can go out along the highway. If you have a bug out location and on state land, bury stuff on state land. As long as you know that once you get to a location and there's going to be stuff there, it gives you a purpose, okay? If you have no purpose, if you have nothing and you're just wandering and like you were trying on the run, but you have nothing that you don't, what are you going to do? Okay. But if you know, okay, if I get to point B, there's stuff buried in point B. I get to point B, I dig that stuff up. Now I have some stuff. Now I'm going to try to get to point C where I have more stuff buried. That's my point. Have different locations away from you. Even in suburbia, you can do that. Okay. You don't have to have it, right there. Pick some spots and do what you got to do. Let's see. Let me see. Tips for out-of-state college students. Okay, this is important, guys. If your children are in college, you want to make sure. I think this is important, and every college kid is going to have this. Make sure they have a bicycle. Okay. because a bicycle, if there ever is an EMP, a bicycle you're going to still be able to use. Great form of transportation to get out of Dodge, cover a lot of miles in a hurry. Okay, make sure your kid's got a bug out bag. Have regular maps. Make sure your kids know how to read a regular map. Okay, so they have 3, 4, 5 different ways to get home or to get to the bug out location. That is very, very important. Okay, so that I definitely would recommend if your kid is in college. Have your kid, make sure your kid's got some training. Make sure they know how to start a fire, how to make a shelter, and those type of things. So you're trying to give that kid every advantage that they can have to get back to you. I mean, when Heather goes off to college, she knows I am not going to be able to come to her. She's going to need to get home. Okay, so she will be in a position where she's going to have the tools that she needs that are going to help her to be able to get home and get home safely. Okay, so let's see. The shutdown. Do I think it will come to martial law? You know what? It depends on how long they run the shutdown for. At this point right now, the Republicans and the Democrats are not budging at all to come to the table to talk and stuff like that. Now, again, is that both sides? I believe so. Okay, everybody's playing games. Nobody wants to give in. But who is that affecting? It's affecting 800,000 federal workers. And at the end of February, it's going to affect the people that are getting SNAP benefits and stuff like that, Section 8 housing. The landlord's still going to want their money. People are still going to need to eat. It could be a reason that they're doing it to kind of enforce a martial law, because people are going to go nuts, guys. I don't know if you ever remember the video that they had out in California of the woman that had gone to a convenience store and her EBT card was not working and she flipped out, like destroyed the store. Crazy, crazy behavior. But those are kind of things that are going to happen. Okay, so let's see, 800,000 non-essential. I know, I love that. What's non-essential? So, that's interesting in itself. Will they take the children? Children can always be used as a control mechanism. Most people that are parents, that are loving parents, are going to obviously, want to do whatever they can do to get their kids back. I know that like social services and stuff like that, that's a tool that's being used a lot. And again, it's another way to have control. It's a control mechanism. If you don't follow the rules, we'll take your kids. So that is something that I would be concerned about. It's definitely something I would be concerned about. So, that's something to keep an eye on. So just something to think about. Okay. The SNAP benefits were handed out January 20th for February. So, and again, so they got their benefits early. Are people going to plan to be prepared enough to have extra food for that last part of February before the March benefits would be available, hopefully, if they're available? So we will see what happens. What do I think about the lion's mane mushroom for autism? I have never heard of it. I have no knowledge of that at all, to be honest with you, so I have no idea. If you could send me a link for some information to my email, prepreneurs1@yahoo.com.
What is it you mentioned about autism, Dad?
Lion's mane mushroom?
Lion's mane mushroom.
Yeah, for autism. You can come over here if you want, Bub, because they were talking about the autism over here. So anyway, if you could send me that information, I would definitely be very, very interested about that. I know what I wanted to tell you guys too. So somebody had asked me, and I said I would mention it in chat. Somebody said, "What elevation are we at?" We are at 1,440 feet. So we're 1,440 feet above sea level where I live. So just kind of gives you an idea that where we're at. Okay, so somebody had asked that, and somebody also asked me, and I answered them there, but I had talked to somebody, and I wanted to make sure that I said it in the chat here that we're at 1,440 feet above sea level. So I like my elevation. I like my mountains. So let's see. Do I think Pelosi was trying to get out of Dodge with that plane? No, not at all. I think she was just looking for a nice.
Very scary mountain lion.
Yeah, okay. Just let the kitties be, honey. Socks. No. Sorry, guys. Pelosi was looking for a nice vacation during this basically shutdown with 86 family members. Her and 7 other congressmen were going to go over there and just have a good time and party basically on our expense. So how awesome is that? Aren't we just wonderful that we just keep giving these people more and more and more? When is enough enough? That's kind of my thing. We need to have a complete overhaul of what they get. They should get the same health care benefits as the rest of us. They should have the same kind of retirement that the rest of us have, in dental as well. It shouldn't all be all these higher level stuff that these people get the best treatment of everything and everybody else gets crap. That's not right at all. A lot of people are talking about some kind of event happening in March. What do I think of that? Again, that could be something to do with if they prolong this shutdown and it affects the benefits of 39 million people. You're going to have 39 million really, really pissed off people that are going to want to eat, that are used to being given that money to eat. It's going to affect a lot of people. Okay. So you could definitely have an event that way. What I would be more concerned about is a so-called, let me just say so-called terrorist attack of some sort, be it on the power grid or be it some other kind of dirty bomb or something that is allowed to happen. Again, why? To give up our freedom. When you go back and look at what happened with 9/11 and they brought the Patriot Act in, people went, sure, here's my rights, take them. In the guise of freedom, guys. Think about that. Look at all, if you really want to go back and look and do that study of that whole thing, you look at how much of our freedoms that we have given up in the guise of freedom. And talking about freedom, the folks, you guys up there in Canada, I just had somebody send me some information of your new laws as far as drinking and driving goes, where they basically can come into your house up to 2 hours later and say you have to take a breathalyzer if they suspect you of driving. And there was a lady that was in the article that had been pulled over, and she was an older woman and couldn't breathe into the breathalyzer enough. They tried it like 15 times, and she was stone sober. They towed her car, everything like that, said she was drunk. We're going to try to charge her with DWI. This woman was smart enough and had the foresight enough. She went to the hospital, had a toxicology test done on herself with her blood, and proved that she was not over the limit or incapacitated. So, but think about what they're doing, and that's another way of controlling. It's horrible. So I feel bad for you guys up there in Canada as well. You're going through the same exact crap that we are down here in the United States. Let's see. Someone asked a couple of times if N95 mask could be okay for a volcanic eruption. Yes, as long as you have, like I said, the filter and stuff like that, you're going to need a good seal. Like with my beard, it would never make a good seal with my beard. So if there was a volcanic eruption, I would probably try to get rid of this as quickly as I possibly could, so I would get a tight seal. You do not want to breathe in volcanic ash. It will mix in your lungs, turn to cement, and drown you, okay? It's glass. Volcanic ash is little glass particles, and they will kill you if you breathe in enough of it, okay? So it's definitely no joke, not anything to play with. So just, but yeah, an N95 mask is a good one to have. What do I think will happen to the Clintons, if anything? The Clintons have gotten away with murder, continue to get away with all kinds of stuff. Look at all the donations to the Clinton Foundation. How come that's not being investigated more strongly? I think both of them should be in prison. I mean, he is a proven rapist, basically. I mean, if you look back at the history of what he's done, and I think she's worse than he is, to be honest with you. I mean, anybody that was kicked off of the Watergate investigation by the lead prosecutor, who stated at that time she was the most corrupt person he had ever met in his life. What does that tell you about Hillary Clinton? And that's going back to the 70s, guys, okay? It's not like 30, 40 years later through being in Washington made her any better. Very ruthless woman, wouldn't want to be her enemy. Not a nice person, in my opinion, okay? So, but I don't think anything will happen to them. They have enough dirt on everybody that nothing will ever happen to them, and I wish that it would, because they both belong in prison. Will we see a new kind of police? I don't think so. I think that, like I said, if they enact martial law, I think they will use the regular troops, and they will use, they'll call up the National Guard. So I think that's what you're going to be looking at to deal with. I think they're smart enough to know not to bring in foreign troops on our soil, because you're opening another whole can of worms with that, and you're just going to piss people off. So I think it'll be local boys and girls from the U.S., and I think that's what they'll use. And they may start a new police force at that point in time, and so people may want to join it to be part of something. It's better to be on the wrong side than, getting your butt handed to you. I mean, I think you look back to Nazi Germany, guys. It's a great example. All about control, a little bit at a time. It's exactly what they did. And basically, when they got enough power, they did whatever they wanted to do. So it wouldn't be surprising to see that happen here. Will they take mortgaged homes? Hard to say. I mean, with that, it really depends. I mean, I can't say for sure that they would or they wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me, I'll be honest with you, if they did something like that. That wouldn't shock me at all. Let's see. Oh, you're saying it's questionable because they are allowing the UN troops to participate and stuff? Yeah, but you know what? If they brought UN troops into the United States to try to maintain control, people in the United States are not going to tolerate it. I'm telling you right now. We are not, like some of these small European countries that are just getting run over, okay? There's enough people here in the U.S. The only way that they could ever do something like that is if they ever take complete control of the guns. If they can, and they're trying, guys. They're trying to get the guns out of our hands. The only way that they can control is if they disarm us. If we cannot able to defend ourselves, then there's going to be issues. But and they are trying to do that every time you turn around. Every day they're trying to do that. So it's something to think about. How is the government going to pay the soldiers when the dollar crashes? I don't. You know what? I have no idea, guys. I have no idea how they would do that. Maybe for services rendered, they get free room and board, and credits for whatever. They may do something like that. I don't know. Let's see. Homeland Security and the National Guard for martial law. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? National Guard, and you're going to, like I said, and you're going to have regular troops as well. They will control the cities to start with, control the highways, put up checkpoints. They'll go into small towns after they have complete control of cities, and they'll just work their way out. That's exactly what they'll do. Let's see. Again, if you have questions, guys, all cap lock so that they stand out for me, please. Am I in favor of rebellion? I'm in favor of change of the way that the system is now because it's broken. The system is a mess, and it needs to change. There is, if that takes rebellion to do that, it's going to cost a lot of lives if there is a rebellion. It would be a very, very ugly, ugly situation. I think most people have no idea how bad it would be. Veterans coming back that have fought overseas, those guys have an idea. They know what the deal would be and how bad it could be. People that have dealt with a war like in Sarajevo and like that, they know what it's about. Okay, go talk to some of those people and see how it was when a city was cut off and they were trying to survive. Those are the people you want to talk to, and then tell me if you're really for some kind of rebellion like that. It would be ugly. It would be horrible. It really, really, truly would be, in my opinion. But sometimes that's what it takes, unfortunately. Do I think American soldiers will hurt American families? Here's the thing with that, guys, okay? Let's even go back to Hurricane Katrina, okay? When the troops went into Hurricane Katrina, the first thing they did was disarm the populace. They didn't care. There was no, oh, well, you're okay. We know you're just defending yourself. If you had a gun, they took it away. That's the American troops doing that, okay? So you tell me what they would do. They'll do what they're told. And if you look back, let's look at any kind of war trials ever. Look at the Germans. I was just following orders, Right. You know why? Because if you don't follow orders, you're going to be put before the firing squad, or you're going to be put to death immediately, however they decide to do it. People follow orders because they don't want to make waves and they don't want to cause trouble. So yeah, I think that American troops would hurt American families. I think that they would. That's just my opinion. Okay. Yeah, Americans killed Americans in the Civil War. Brother fought against brother. I mean, come on. Because they picked a side, and once they pick a side, they stick with it. Let's see. Why prep if the government is going to take it anyway? See, now that I love when people say something like that. Well, why do anything if somebody's going to take it? Well, if you have it hidden, or if you have it squirreled away in different locations and stuff like that, how are they going to take it if they don't know where it is? Now, if you have a whole bunch of stuff in one location and they come in, they can take whatever they want. You're right. But I'm trying to give my family a chance. Why wouldn't you want to give your family a chance? That's why we prep, guys. You prep because you want to give your family the advantage over everybody else if you can. That's what it's all about. And so waiting for some boogeyman to come and take your stuff, I'm not, you know what? They can come and try, okay? But like I said, I have a game plan. Anybody else at Preps has a game plan, and that's, you got to stick with your plan, okay? So that's why you should prep. Let's see. What do I think about ghee? Great stuff. I actually have some. I'm actually down, like when we get into the summer, I'm going to do a video about ghee, okay? Ghee you can take, you make it, put it on a shelf, it'll last forever. Great stuff, okay? And it's GHEE. So if you guys are interested, look it up online. I will be doing a video on it this summer on how to make it, but great stuff to have, and it indefinite shelf life. Let's see. All right, so somebody asked, do I believe in Jesus Christ? I've addressed this before in many other videos. I am not a religious person. So it's like, I respect anybody's right to believe whatever they want if it gives you peace of mind, okay? I have a different belief set than most people, but if it gives you peace of mind and you want to believe in Jesus and God and everything else, that's great. And I'm very happy for you, okay? But I have a different belief system. So that's all I'm going to say about that. How long do I think we have left to prep? God, it's hard to say, but I would rather have it one day too early than one day too late. Do you understand what I mean by that? It's like we never know when it's going to happen. When it happens, I'm telling you right now, even me as a prepper, being prepared, it's going to be a shock to me too when it happens. It's going to be like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Okay, but you want to have yourself in a position to act, not react. That's really important. I think a lot of people lose sight of that. So you want to be able to act. So getting prepared as soon as you possibly can and get the things that you need as soon as you possibly can is a smart thing to do. Give yourself every advantage that you possibly can for what's coming, because I'm telling you, it's coming. I can't say when. I don't know how long we have. I hope it doesn't ever happen. I'll be honest, and I've said that before too, but I don't think that that's a realistic way of looking at things. I definitely, something has to give. We can't keep going like we're going. You look at the trillions of dollars that we're in debt in this country, okay? We're not taking in enough taxes just to pay the interest alone on what we owe. So think about that too. Very scary. A reset has to happen at some point, and it will. It definitely will. Would it be good to have thermal or night vision? Absolutely. If you can get a hold of thermal or night vision, again, any advantage that you can get for yourself over everybody else is a very smart thing to do, okay? So if you can get thermal or night vision, I would definitely, now it's not cheap, guys. It's not cheap, but well worth it. So definitely something that I think that you should definitely do. So yes, I think you should definitely have that. Do I believe in a flat earth? No, I do not. I believe that the earth is round. I know a lot of people are really fixated on this whole flat earth thing. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I believe the earth is round. Now, I'm not telling you that you're wrong because you believe the earth is flat if you're a flat earther, okay? Until I have 100% concrete proof either way, I'm going to believe that the earth is round. Okay. So that's just my take on that. So, but I'm not discrediting anybody that says that they believe that the earth is flat. It's a different thinking. It's a newer thing that's come up, but I believe that the earth is round. Let's see. This guy, 14th Amendment, just said, make friends with someone who is medically trained. That is a really, really good idea, guys. I don't care if it's a veterinarian, a veterinary tech, somebody that's had some kind of medical training, EMT, nurse, even a CNA are going to have more training than the average person when it comes to those type of things. Doctors, if you can get a hold of somebody that and have them in your circle or in your group, huge advantage having somebody in the medical field in your group. It's a big thing. It's going to save lives is what it's going to do. And somebody that knows what they're doing is going to save lives. Okay, let's see. A lot of people are asking about fish mocks again. I've talked about fish mocks a little bit before. I have not ordered any yet. Definitely something that I am going to order for myself. I'm not telling you what to do, but fish mocks is the exact same ingredients as amoxicillin with a different name. If you look at them, they're exactly the same pill. There is absolutely no difference whatsoever. So you use your own judgment on that. I'm not telling you what to do. Me personally, yes, I would use fish mocks as an antibiotic in an emergency situation. Absolutely, 100% I would. And it's actually cheaper to get fish mocks than it is to get a regular, regular prescription. So, shelf life on fish mocks. It would be the same thing as any other thing. You're looking, I believe they're about a year and a half, maybe max. Their shelf life. I'd have to look it up again. I knew it cranked 100% at one time, but I believe it's a year and a half. If I'm wrong, please somebody correct me. But if you got a certain amount to spend $150 every 2 years to get fresh and get rid of the old, not a bad idea. It's an investment for the future for your health, so it's not a bad thing to do. Let's see. Okay, now I've heard this before. Somebody's saying that FEMA camps have 80,000 guillotines. I've heard this guillotine thing before. I don't put a lot of credence into it, guys. I really, truly don't. Why would they cut our heads off? Again, I'm not dismissing anybody that believes that. I have seen no concrete evidence that they have guillotines, and what is the purpose of having the guillotines for? I've not seen that. So I can't say yes or no to that, okay? But certain things I can't put any credibility in, and that would be one of them, okay? Do I think Trump is on our side? I think that Trump is trying to do right by the American people in a crooked, rigged card game. So it's very, very difficult for him to try to win that. Now, is he also looking out for himself? Yeah. Is he going to look out for his rich friends? Yep, sure will. Okay. But I think that he has the best interest of the people at heart, even though he's attacked relentlessly, and again, it's all games. It's all political grandstanding. And but I do believe that, that he's trying to help in the long run for most of us. I really, truly do. Okay. Let's see. Thoughts on Nikola Tesla technologies? Suppression. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell you what, guys. They got stuff that will run engines on water. They have all kinds of really, really good inventions that people have made through the years that were bought up by oil companies and stuff like that. And that technology was definitely repressed because they're making a ton of money off of oil. We are not always privy to all the things that are out there, and we never will be because they don't want us to be. Again, what is the ultimate goal? To reach into our pocket and take as much money from us as they possibly can and to control us completely. So I don't think that it's just like with with the free energy. Nikola Tesla wanted to give free energy to people. Well, then what happened to him? He died, didn't he? So, they're going to suppress those type of things. They're not going to, they don't want that. They don't want that. It's all about control. And if we all had free energy, now we don't rely on them for power. So think about that, okay? Yeah, no prescription is needed for fish marks. Exactly. Do I believe in the Planet X? I believe there's other planets out there. I know that there's talking about a planet that comes around every like 36,000 years. That is definitely something that I believe could happen. Here's another thing, guys, and other intelligent life out there. I've talked about this not so much on my videos, but with friends and stuff like that. And I said, how arrogant of us as human beings to think that we're the only intelligent people in the entire universe. There's so many people or so many other life forces out there. And so we're going to throw it back onto religion for a second. The reason that they want to suppress the fact that there's other intelligent life out there, because it throws the whole God theory out the window. If you all of a sudden you have these other alien creatures coming in that have been around for millions or thousands or however long years, what happens to the whole God theory then? It throws it completely out the window, and people don't want that. Okay, again, organized religion, in my opinion, okay, I'm giving you my opinion, guys, is about three things: power, control, and money. They want to tell you what to do, okay? That's, it's about power, having and getting your money. It's what it's all about, okay? If they keep you under control and you have a fear of a retribution, then you're going to do what you're told and be a good boy. That's realistic. I mean, religion was created to control the most vicious animal on this planet, and that's mankind. And realistically, if you look at it, what religion is the right religion? There's so many different ones out there. So when people say, well, this is it, this religion is the only one, and this one says this religion is the only one, who's right, who's wrong? Okay. And again, it's a personal, individual choice. I respect everybody's right to believe whatever they want to believe. I'm not going to put you guys down for it. Okay. If it gives you peace of mind, I'm absolutely 100% happy for you. Let's see. Am I aware of artificial telepathy? I believe telepathy is definitely something that can happen. I don't know about artificial telepathy, but we're all given gifts. Okay. And I think a lot of those are suppressed as well. And people are going to say, well, if somebody was able to move something with their mind, they would say, oh, well, that's the devil. Well, that's crap. That's just their mind. Their mind is more developed than somebody else's mind. We use 10% of our brain. Think about that for a second. Albert Einstein, who was considered a genius, they said used 12% of his brain. So we have 90% of our brains that are untapped. I think we have the potential to do anything that we want to do if we could unlock those keys. I think that would be an awesome thing to be able to do. I missed that, so I'm sorry. Let's see. What preps do you need when you bug out in the winter with children? Okay, you're going to want to have warm clothes. That's going to be number one. Mittens, hats. With children, their extremities are going to be the spots that are going to be their most vulnerable. So their hands and their feet, their face. So having wool socks, I don't care, wool mittens, okay? If they can keep those extremities warm, that's going to be important. Some way to help them travel so that it's not going to be so difficult. Maybe if it's wintertime, a sled, so that you can pull them behind you so that they can rest by sitting on the sled. Making sure that they're warm, being able to, keep them entertained, play games with them along the hike or walk or whatever you got to do. So, but keeping those kids safe and warm is going to be your biggest challenge in that kind of a situation. Nikola Tesla was a genius. Yes, he was. Let's see. No, I couldn't be called back because of my age. I'm over 50, so I'm 53. I'll be 54 this year. If there was ever a callback for the military, it would be, I think it's under 50 that they can take people. Over 50, they would not. So I could probably be pressed into service for nursing, to be honest with you. That would probably be a place that they could force me to go and do nursing. That would probably be the only thing that they could do. So many scientists cite that the 10% is an urban legend. That's not the research that I've had. We have a lot of untapped resources in our brains that we don't use. Let's see. Life is what you make it, nothing more, nothing less. That is for sure. Life is definitely what you make it. It can be a happy existence. It can be a miserable existence. It's all about choices that we make. I had somebody yesterday when I talked about the young girl, and I had a couple people say that I would have just let her die. Other people were saying that, well, you don't know what she's going through, why she's using drugs. Okay. Drugs, alcohol, those type of things, guys, are an escape from reality. That's the bottom line. That's what they're used for. So you don't have to deal. Prescription drugs are the same thing. Life is so rough, I need to be on an antidepressant. Life is so rough, I need Valium. People are using these things as a crutch. Does life suck sometimes? It sure does, okay? But I think a lot of it is here mentally. If you were a strong-minded person and you say, you know what, I'm going to be happy today, and you will be, okay? You can make yourself happy. If you are in a bad situation, guys, my advice to anybody in a bad situation is get out of that situation. It's all about choices, and that's what this person said. It's all about choices, and we have that choice. We can be happy or unhappy, and that's it. So it's totally up to you, okay? Let's see. So somebody says, I know you can't say how long, but do I think years or months? Again, guys, I don't make predictions. The last time I made a prediction, I was wrong. I thought that the Republicans were going to win the House, and I was completely wrong. But there's no telling. I mean, it could be months, it could be years. But the thing is, take whatever time that we have and use it to your advantage. That is the biggest advice that I can give anybody. Use what time we have to your advantage. That is important. Definitely do that, okay? Okay, so this is another one, guys. This person said the Mark of the Beast chip is being made in the building 666 in New York City. I don't know where these things come from. I don't put a lot of credence into that. I really, truly don't. I've heard this, I'm not taking the chip. You know what? I know that like some businesses were like people had the option, they could get a chip put in their hand to do stuff in the business. Now, would I do that? No, I would not. I personally, it wouldn't be anything I would be interested in, because it's another way that they can track you and control you. So I definitely would not do something like that. But as far as them forcing people to have a chip, I honestly, personally, I don't see it. Okay. And that's my opinion. People are going to think what they're going to think anyway, but I don't see any credence in that at all. I really, truly don't. Okay. How do you hide from FEMA when they come? Can you stay in the north? I think being in the north is an advantage because of the weather. People are when we have our winter season up here, people are not going to want to be out in the cold. So, that gives us an advantage. A lot of people will perish because of the weather. I mean, we just had a couple of days here, sub-zero temperatures here at the homestead. It was 14 below zero one morning, and it was 8 below zero the next morning. So, and those were some cold days on top of it. So when it's weather like that, it's going to be tough. Okay. It's going to be really, really tough. So you're not going to, people are not going to be out there knocking down doors in sub-zero temperatures. They're not going to want to. So that gives us an advantage, I think, in my opinion. All preppers should read The Art of War. I believe so too. I have that book. Love it. Very good information. Businessmen read The Art of War. So think about that. That's one of the things that they do. So it's very, very smart book to have. Good thing to have. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Let's see. Guns, water, and food. Well, those are 3 really good things to have. Being able to defend yourself, to protect what you have, is very, very important, okay? Doesn't necessarily have to be guns. It could be compound bows, crossbows. Silent killers is always a good thing to have too, okay? You don't always want to have to bang it out and let everybody know exactly where you are. So have a way that if you had to take somebody out, like with a compound bow or a crossbow, have that too. Don't draw attention to yourself if you don't have to when things go bad. What do I think about helping a small town under 5,000 get prepared? If they ask for help, I would definitely be interested in helping people like that. People would have to work together. And if you have, and I think you're going to find, guys, a lot of small towns, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to barricade those towns off. They're going to restrict access in there. And I think that they will try to survive that way. I think a lot of small towns will do that in an SHTF event. I really, truly do. So it's a smart thing to do. If you can, like I said, the bigger your group that can help you to survive, the better your chances of survival are going to be. Okay. What about apartment living? Are we sitting ducks? Not necessarily. It depends on where you are. Depends on who you know. What's your plan? Like I said, have a plan. Having a plan is so important. Knowing what you're going to do. Are you going to bug in? Or are you going to bug out? Again, cash is. Having cash is out and about. That if you have to get out of Dodge, that if you get to one of your caches, that you can get to different things. Okay, so that's definitely one way of doing it. All right, let's see. How do we start a group? Really hard finding like-minded people. It is. It's not easy to find like-minded people. The way, obviously, I've done it is putting myself out here on YouTube. I've met some awesome people through my channel. And but again, what I'm going to be doing, I talked about this a little bit in my last video. We're going to be setting something up on my website, preppernurse1.com, where people can go and say, whatever state that they're in, and try to connect with like-minded people. What you do after that is your own business. If you decide to meet somebody or talk to somebody, that's going to be completely up to you guys. But we're going to try to set something up like have, California. And if you're a prepper in California, you can go in there and, put your name or your email. And it'll all be, so like if somebody just comes to my website, they can't just see it. You'll have to be registered at the website so that only people that are registered are going to be able to see that information. So that's how we're going to do that. And then that way you can connect with people there. So we're definitely going to be doing that. So it's a good way for people to connect. Okay. Let's see. The people in control are preparing. You better believe that they are. The powers that be definitely have underground bunkers. They definitely have abundance of food and water and stuff like that. So maybe those trillions of dollars that are missing, maybe that's where that money's going, guys. Underground facilities, long-term storage, 10, 15 years worth of food, can house, different little bases that could house between 2,000 and 5,000 people. And they already got those people picked out. And, that's just the way it'll be. They're going to pick the best, the brightest, the youngest, the strongest, the scientific minds, your doctors, your some nurses and stuff like that. But they're going to pick people that are in really, really good physical health as well. So that's something to think about, okay? What about family members that don't believe in prepping and think you're crazy for doing it? Again, that's going to be on an individual basis. If you believe that you want to help those people, then you should help them. If you feel that you don't want to, I don't blame you if you don't. All right. There's people that I do plan on helping, and there's people that I don't plan on helping. For me, a lot of the times, if I've talked to people about prepping and they've done absolutely nothing, it's really hard for me to say, well, I'm going to help you now. Look, I've sacrificed everything and done all this prepping, and who've done nothing, come on in. Now, I have my niece, and I've talked about this, and she has 3 boys. I will welcome my niece in with open arms and the boys. And, that's a personal decision on my part, but I have prepared enough that I could do that, and it's not going to hurt me or my family. So that's something else that you really need to take into consideration. Are you able to help where it's not going to infringe on your group or your family? So that's another thing you need to think about, okay? Should I stay in Northern California or move out of state? Northern California is beautiful. I was just there in September. Very, very beautiful, beautiful area. But Again, that's a personal choice. The way that the laws are in California right now, they're nuts. And New York is not far behind, guys. Trust me on that. New York is not far behind. California leads and New York follows when it comes to craziness as far as ridiculous laws. So, I mean, again, if you want to have more freedom and you want to be in a more prepper-friendly or gun-friendly state, then that's a personal choice, and that's what if you choose to do that, then you can absolutely go ahead and do that, and I would say do it if that's what you want to do. But again, it depends on what family you have there and who's around and stuff like that, okay? All right, let's see. Northern Nevada, do we need to get out of here? Well, again, it depends on what your water sources are. If you don't have water or way to get water, you're going to be in big trouble in a hurry real quick. Okay, so if you have access to water, then stay put. But if you don't, then you're going to have to think about that. Okay, so that's a scary situation. See, I'm very lucky where I'm at. Got a lot of water all over the place up here. So that's never been an issue here. I think everyone deserves to go underground. If they had the resources to be able to do it, if something bad was happening, I think that they should, but they won't. That's the reality. They won't. They're not going to help everybody, guys. They're just not. Let's see. Yes, you can melt snow for water, and yes, you should still boil it. So, Drummer Girl was just saying in the wintertime, you can take water, melt it down for drinking water, but I would boil it first. Again, you don't know if animals have defecated in that snow or whatever. Even if the snow looks good, there might be stuff in there. So you definitely want to boil that water first before you drink it. But it's going to take a lot of snow to make a little bit of water. That's one thing you got to remember, okay? Taking that oath to help people that are less fortunate, yep, you can, but you have to only help as much as you possibly can. Don't sacrifice yourself to help people that are lost causes. I mean, it sounds terrible to say that, but again, if you have a group or your family and you've prepped a certain amount, if you've prepped extra to help other people, that's great. But if you can't do it, you have to look at the big picture. Your family and your group are going to come first, and that's what you have to think about, okay? There's my ex-wife used to say as a joke, if anybody remembers the show Baywatch, Hasselhoff was the head lifeguard. She used to say, you can't save them all, Hasselhoff, and that's the truth. You can't save them all. What canned goods would be good? You know what? I have a lot of canned stuff. Again, you want to stay away from your tomato sauces if you can, as much as possible, because they're going to go bad over time because it's more acidic, so it's going to eat through the can. But if you have it in rotation and you're using it on a regular basis, that's fine. Canned goods are great to have, and they last for years and years and years and years. So really good to have. I have a ton of canned goods, and I do have some, tomato paste and tomato sauce and those type of things as well, raviolis and stuff like that. But those again are in rotation, and we eat them on a regular basis. Well, guys, I can't believe it's already 9 o'clock already. Time has gone by very, very fast. So I'm actually going to jump off of here now. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. That's important to remember, and we really need to think about that, okay? Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen, so it's real, real important, that we tell the people that we care about every day. Remember STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. That's it. Nobody else can do it, okay? So remember that. That's real important. If I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. When I have 700 plus people in the chat, I can't see everybody's comment. I try to get to as many as I can. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. I'm really not. So, look for me again Friday. I'll be on Friday, and I may have an announcement for you guys on Friday as well. So look for that as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Thank you for coming and sharing time with me. Thank you for all the questions. I appreciate it. I really, truly do. Hope everybody has a great night. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.